Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel. And today I wanted to do a very unorganized and chaotic mess of a video just to let you know about some of the new thriller and horror books coming out later this year that I am highly anticipating and very much looking forward to reading. I think we all know that I'm a massive fan of thrillers, and I've loved thrillers ever since I've been a reader. But recently I've been getting really into horror books. You can probably thank Stephen King and like my love of reading Stephen King this year, but also just, I don't know. I feel like lately I've just been reading a lot of really great horror books like Bunny and The Troop, and after reading those, I just really have been wanting to seek out more horror books. I found this very resourceful website, which I will show you later on in this video, because I feel like finding new release books isn't always the easiest thing to do because Goodreads is only so helpful, you know? But I have made a list on Goodreads of my most anticipated books. And I might be looking down this way a lot because I have my laptop right here with all of this information. So I do have this page on Goodreads that's like my most anticipated books, but this is like a mix of any genres, so it's not necessarily all just like thrillers and horrors, but this is just a list of all of my most anticipated books. I have 41 books on this list, and so today I thought I would go over with you all of the thrillers and horror novels that are on them. We'll start with the thrillers and then make our way to the horrors. So the very first thriller that I'm the most excited about, it's my most anticipated book of the year, is going to be Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Is anybody surprised? Probably not. And this one is my most anticipated book of the year because I really love Riley Sager's writing. I've loved every single one of his books so far, and especially his most recent book that had these like haunted house vibes, and it seems like this one is going to be very similar because the description just says, a woman returns to the house made famous by her father's best-selling horror memoir. Is the place really haunted by evil forces as her father claimed, or are there more earthbound and dangerous secrets hidden within its walls? That is all I need to know going in. This one is actually also described as thriller slash horror, which is, you know, the best of both worlds. And I'm so excited. I could not be more excited for a book than I am about Home Before Dark. And this one comes out June 30th. Next on this list we have His and Hers by Alice Feeney. This one is coming out on July 28th. And this one also kind of has like a vague premise. I don't really want to know too much about it, but it just says there are two sides to every story. Yours and mine, ours and theirs, his and hers, which means someone is always lying. And I don't know, I'm interested in checking this one out. I've liked some books by Alice Feeney and others I have not, so I'm always willing to give her books a chance though. Alright, next up we have The Night Swim, which I actually found out about this book because one of my friends on Instagram recommended it to me, and it's by Megan Golden. This one comes out August 4th. And this one, it's the same author of The Escape Room, so that's interesting. And it says a podcast host covering a controversial trial in a small town becomes obsessed with a brutal crime that took place there years before. So, I don't know, that sounds interesting. And it's a true crime podcast, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, it sounds cool. I'm gonna read it. Alright, next up we have Don't Look For Me by Wendy Walker, which Wendy Walker is another one of those authors that she's always like a hit or miss for me. Like, I mean, most of her books have been misses, like, not gonna lie. Like, I haven't really like loved any of her books yet. I think all of her books have been like 3 or 2 stars for me, but I'm always willing to give her books another chance because I've never like hated any of her books. And I don't know, I think this one's just about this girl that disappears. It doesn't really give you too much with this description anyways, and I don't really want to know too much anyways. I just want to go in blind. Ooh, the next one is All the Broken People by Leah Conan, and this one comes out on June 30th. This one says, a woman in search of a fresh start is about to get more than she bargained for in this twisting and addictive domestic thriller for fans of The Couple Next Door. So I did enjoy The Couple Next Door. Like, it's not one of my favorite thrillers of all time, but I enjoyed it. And so, I don't know, flees from Brooklyn to this other part of New York, and then she meets this alluring couple next door. I don't know, it sounds like something that I would really enjoy. I really love thrillers that have like premises like that, like where they like meet like mysterious new people who are up to no good. Oh my gosh, and then next we have Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. Wow, that cover is way too big. It doesn't come out until July 28th, but I am so freaking stoked for this book. I don't think I've ever actually read anything by this author yet, but this premise makes it sound like it's gonna be the chain of 2020. So it's about this guy who answers the door one morning and he lets in a parent's worst nightmare. On his doorstep is Miles Lambert, a stranger who breaks with devastating news that Pete's son Theo isn't actually his son. They were switched at birth by an understaffed hospital while their real son was sent home with the Miles and his wife Lucy. And then it's kind of like a thriller about that and like what the heck? Next up, we have The Girls Weekend. This one comes out on June 9th, and it doesn't look like this one is getting good reviews early on. It has like a 3.5 so far, but I do want to read this one because it says, for fans of Ruth Ware and Lucy Foley, which have both written 5-star books for me, and it says, a riveting locked room mystery about 5 college friends eager to reunite after years apart, only to be ripped apart again when their host's disappearance unearths dark secrets and old grudges. Like, okay, sign me the fuck up. Alright, so next up we have The End of Her by Sherry Lapina. Sherry Lapina is another one of my favorite thriller authors, so I'll pretty much read anything she writes. This one comes out July 28th, and this one just says it's a new domestic suspense from this author. I don't know, I don't really want to read too much about this description, honestly, because I just want to go in blind. Next up we have One by One by Ruth Ware. This one comes out September 8th, and wow, look at that cover, freaking beautiful. Oh my gosh, this one, I don't even need to know anything else. I mean, just knowing it's by Ruth Ware, I'm gonna pick it up because she wrote my favorite thriller of 2019. And I'm excited about this one because it says it's another suspenseful thriller set on a snow-covered mountain. Like, what? God, it says, when an off-site company retreat meant to promote mindfulness and collaboration goes utterly wrong when an avalanche hits, the corporate food chain becomes irrelevant and survival trumps togetherness. Come Monday morning, how many members short will the team be? Like, what does that even mean? What? Alright, next up we have Stranger in a Lake by Kimberly Bell. And this one I mainly want to read too because I've enjoyed some of Kimberly Bell's other stuff. This one comes out June 9th. This one is about this girl, Charlotte, who is married to this guy, and it's caused a ripple of gossip in their small lakeside town. Everything starts to unravel when she discovers a young woman's body floating in the same exact spot where Paul's first wife tragically drowned. Oh my gosh, also next up we have The Swap by Robin Harding. And Robin Harding is another one of those authors that's like mostly miss for me, but I really enjoy her writing style, so I'm always like hoping one of them is going to be great. I don't know, I think this one's just about like married couples and flings and like they swap and I don't know. And it takes place in the Pacific Northwest, which is pretty cool because that's, you know, where I live. So yeah, I'm very excited to read The Swap. And so the very last thriller I have on this list is Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. This one, you know, Lisa Jewell is one of my favorite authors as well, and I will read anything she writes. This one comes out October 13th, so it's quite a bit of ways away. This one just says, she returns with another taut and white-knuckled thriller following a group of people whose lives shockingly intersect when a young woman disappears. And that is all I want to know. So next up, I wanted to share with you some of the horror books that I'm really excited about, and I found a lot of them due to this link that was posted by, it looks like tornightfire.com posted this. I'll post a link to this article in the description if you want to look through it yourself, but they posted this article called All the Horror Books We're Excited About in 2020, and they listed so many. Like, they have January to March, a full section, and then you go all the way down April to June, they have a whole section, July to September, a whole section, and then October to December. So like there is so much to sort through on this. So I'm just going to be going through the ones that I personally find the most interesting, but if you want to look through all of those, I'll put the link in the description for you. One of the first ones that I found on this article that's not on Goodreads yet, or at least I don't have like the cover updated and stuff, is this one called Alpha Omega, because it's described as Stranger Things meets Black Mirror and Ready Player One. Like, what? Sounds like everything I need in a book. And this is the cover apparently on the publisher's website, Titan Books, Alpha Omega by Nicholas Bowling. And it comes out in July apparently, and literally like that is all I need to know. Like when it said Stranger Things meets Black Mirror and Ready Player One, Like, what? Another one that is probably one of my most anticipated horror books of this year is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I know Stephen Graham Jones, I'm pretty sure he's like a pretty loved author among horror fans, but I haven't read any of his books yet. But this one just sounds so cool. I'm obsessed with this cover. Like, oh my god, it's freaking beautiful. It reminds me of like It Comes at Night or something. And this one comes out July 14th, and he's like the Jordan Peele of horror literature. Like, that's what the description says. And like, what? And it says, seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary. And it follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on revenge, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. What? Oh my gosh, it sounds so crazy, and the way that it says it has like a strong social commentary is what makes me think it's gonna be kind of like a Jordan Peele vibes kind of thing, because I do feel like Jordan Peele is one of the best horror writers that is really good at having like some social commentary as well in his movies. Alright, the next one I have is Wonderland by Zoe Stage, and she is actually the writer of Baby Teeth, which I really did not enjoy last year, but this one is like a horror novel that sounds a lot more interesting to me, so I'm definitely willing to check this one out, and it comes out on June 16th. This premise says, if Shirley Jackson wrote The Shining, it might look like this novel. Like, what? A mother must become a protector when unnatural forces threaten her family's new and improved life in a rural farmhouse. Oh my gosh, it just sounds so freaking good. I honestly just can't wait. I don't need to know anything else. And then of course we have Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay. God, why did they make these covers so big? Oh my god. This one's coming out July 7th. This one sounds so freaking weird and so cool. It says, in a matter of weeks, Massachusetts has been overrun by an insidious rabies-like virus that is spread by saliva. But unlike rabies, the disease has a terrifyingly short incubation period of an hour or less. Those infected quickly lose their minds and are driven to bite and infect as many others as they can before they inevitably succumb. Hospitals are inundated with the sick and dying, and hysteria has taken hold. To try to limit its spread, the Commonwealth is under quarantine and curfew, but society is breaking down and the government's emergency protocols are faltering. This sounds like it's going to be absolutely fucking terrifying to read right now with everything going on in the world, but I don't even care. I'm going to read it. It's even listed under genres as horror zombies. And I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like, Paul Tremblay writing a freaking novel like this? Oh my god, I'm so excited. And if you didn't know, Paul Tremblay wrote one of my favorite thriller horror books ever, The Cabin at the End of the World. So hella excited. Like, this is gonna be one that I want to get my hands on immediately. All right, and then next up we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and this one comes out on June 30th. This one is like this historical fiction gothic fantasy horror. Like, I don't even know, dude. It says, a reimagining of the classic gothic suspense novel, a story about an isolated mansion in 1950s Mexico and the brave socialite drawn to its treacherous secrets. Like, honestly, that is all I need to know. Oh my gosh, this cover is so beautiful too. I love this like green textured background with the like, oh, the way it like goes with the like maroon burgundy color of her dress. Oh my god, it's beautiful. So the next one we have is The Blade Between by Sam J. Miller. This one comes out December 1st, so it's quite a ways away. I actually found out about this one from this website, that link that I showed you, the Tor Nightfire one. And the way they described it was so interesting. It says, a horror novel about an industrial ghost town turned weekend retreat for rich people and the mysterious forces on both sides of the gentrification battle. Like, what? And then you click on it and it shows the genres as horror and LGBT. Like, what? I'm so excited for this. I have no freaking clue what this is about. I don't even know what this cover means or like what. Next up we have The Shadows by Alex North, and this is the same author that wrote The Whisper Man, which I didn't really enjoy that book, but It wasn't the author's writing style that I had an issue with, so I'm definitely interested in checking out more stuff from him. This one actually is more thriller mystery, I think, but it's also horror. Like, those are the top 3 genres that it has, and this one comes out July 7th. You knew a teenager like Charlie Crabtree, a dark imagination, a sinister smile, always on the outside of the group. Some part of you suspected he might be capable of doing something awful. 25 years ago, Crabtree did just that, committing a murder so shocking that it's attracted that strange kind of infamy that only exists on the darkest corners of the internet and inspired more than one copycat. But see, then it also sounds like it's going to be following the point of view of the detective who like handled that case. So like, I don't love reading about detective point of views, but I'm hoping that this book concept is interesting enough that it's like fine. And I'm really hoping that this one's going to be a book of the month selection for the month of July. And because The Whisper Man was a book of the month selection, and they usually like to do like the same author again, so I'm hoping that this one's a book of the month selection this summer. And then next up we have The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson, and this one just sounds so interesting to me because the genres are horror and sci-fi, and this one comes out September 29th, so it is a little bit of ways, but it says Stranger Things meets World War Z in this heart-racing conspiracy thriller as a lonely young woman teams up with a group of fellow outcasts to survive the night in a town overcome by a science experiment gone wrong. Like, what? I don't know about you, but that just sounds so freaking cool to me. Like, Stranger Things meets World War Z, what the actual fuck? And then the last horror book on this list that I'm very excited about that I wanted to tell you about is Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar. And this one comes out August 25th. And this one, oh my gosh, just this cover alone, like, doesn't it look so like 80s horror, like retro vibes? Like, I don't even know. I love it so much. This one's actually a young adult horror novel, but just looking at this cover, like, it looks like it's gonna be like real classic horror shit, you know? And then this one says, Quinn Maybrook just wants to make it until graduation. She might not make it to the morning. Quinn and her father moved to tiny, boring Kettle Springs to find a fresh start, but ever since the Bay Pen corn syrup factory shut down, Kettle Springs has cracked in half. On one side are the adults who are desperate to make Kettle Springs great again, and on the other side are the kids who just want to have fun, make prank videos, and get out of Kettle Springs as quickly as they can. Kettle Springs is caught in a battle between old and new, tradition and progress. It's a fight that looks like it will destroy the town until Friendo, the Bay Pen mascot, a creepy clown in a pork pie hat, goes homicidal and decides that the only way for Kettle Springs to go back is to cull the rotten crop of kids who live there now. Oh, it sounds so creepy and so good! Alright, so those are all the upcoming thriller and horror books that I am very excited to get to. There are so many good ones coming out soon. I feel like it would be fun for me to do another like reading 3 new horror releases kind of video sometime around like June or July this summer, because it seems like a lot of those said they were coming out in like June and July time. So like that would be so fun to just like do them all in another reading vlog of like dedicated to reading horror books, because I honestly had so much fun doing that reading vlog of reading 3 hyped horror novels. Like, it was one of my favorite things that I've done on this channel, and I just really want to read more horror. I don't know, I've got the horror bug now and I just like need to read more of it. So as I said, I'll be putting the links in the description for my most anticipated list so you can see all of these on Goodreads, as well as the list for these horror books coming out. And yeah, please let me know if you're also excited about any of these, and maybe like if you didn't know about them and now you're excited about them. And then also let me know about any other thrillers or horror books that are coming out later this year that I might not have mentioned that you think I would be interested in, and any that you're excited about. And thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with a new video.